Something I really cherish in life is number one, God. We gotta start off with that. But number two, the main topic of this video is writing down your goals. Now, I want to emphasize writing down your goals because I think it's important. I think it's important because it reminds us every day of the things God wants us to chase after. So, whether it's that YouTube channel, whether it's being a streamer, athlete, a singer, or whatever it is, just make sure you're doing it God's way. It reminds us that, hey, this is what we got to do. It reminds us, hey, this is the first set of activities, secondary, third set of activities we do every single day, no matter what. It's like you have your most important activities you do for your goals, and you have your most important goals for the bigger goal you do every single day, and then you have the second and third row of goals that you have, which is daily activities, and which then you go, okay, I do those with the extra time I have, but you have the one no matter what. So writing down your goals really will benefit you. They will do things that not a lot of things will do. Like, for instance, one thing, number one, it glorifies God. It will build your relationship with God. Number two, it will constantly remind you to the point where it's like it'll be so ingrained in your head that you just remember every day to do it. It's like, you remember how in grade school, I don't know how it is nowadays no more, because I haven't been in grade school for like 10 years probably, but you write down, I will not do this, 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 but because you got in trouble, and it was so ingrained in your head that reminds you, and because you got in trouble for it, through that, trouble, just like in Proverbs 20:30, it talks about sometimes it takes a painful experience to change your ways. It reminds you, okay, I wrote this down, but I won't have to go through this again. And then through that, it was used to ingrain in your head. Same thing here. I mean, you'll get to a point where it's like, man, you don't even have to write them down no more. Like, I don't even really write down mine anymore. I mean, I do sometimes. Like I write down, like, affirmations in my head of, like, oh, my mind will be clear. My mind will be still. I will tame my mind. I'll have a good mindset. My mind won't go crazy. The feelings in my brain that are bad will still out, meaning, like, they won't be, like, so, like, or it won't suck. It'll go back. It'll, like, be, like, so still. Like, my brain will be clear. Sorry, I'm so tired. I got, like, 2 hours sleep last night, but, yeah. So, I just made a video on this, but we talked about how, journaling is important. So I'm going to erase this. We're going to use the same reference here. And so we're going to say, starting at point A and point B, because I used to write down my goals every single day. I would say I definitely did it for 60 days straight at some point or something, somewhere near there, so I have a good idea of this. Okay, so say you're starting at point A, right? And you're starting out doing it. So you're starting out doing it, and then you go 60 days of doing it. In between the process, that's where you do the daily activities. Not the daily activities. You write down your goals, and then you get a benefit of it. The benefit of getting to it is it constantly reminds you of what's important in your life, of what you're doing every single day. Now, does it remind you of why? No, but it reminds you of what you're doing every single day. So, like, for instance, say you want to go to the NBA. Dwight Howard, I'm pretty sure his dad or his uncle, I don't remember, but they told him to write down that I will go to the NBA every single day. Ever since April this year, I've been telling myself, I'm going to throw in a nugget here in a minute. I will get to 100,000 subscribers. Okay, so I wrote that down. And I wrote it down for a little bit. I've been writing it down for the past few days. And then, hold up, y'all. I'm going to show you something. And then here's where you throw the law of detachment. And the law of detachment is basically where, like, you know what I'm saying? You detach yourself from the end goal. So the end goal is here. You're right here. Basically, detaching yourself means how you feel doesn't depend on whether you get to it or not. You don't try and pinpoint when it's going to happen. You don't try and make it happen by a certain date. You just detach from the end result, and then you focus on God. You know it's in the back of your head. You do whatever you got to do every day. The daily activities to get it, etc. That's how you do that. Yeah, detach from the end goal. It shouldn't be dependent. You should not be dependent on how the end goal, when it happens, or anything of that nature, or anything of the end goal. You should not be dependent on that and let it control how you feel. You should detach yourself from that. And it happens when it happens. It will happen 10 times faster, I'm telling you. Like, I was like, by the power of God, manifesting by the power of God, I wrote down 100K subscribers on where I was gonna put my plaque. What happened? I had a month right after that. I hit 1.4 million views. I had like 5,000 watch hours, the best month I ever had. Didn't get albums this close to get monetized. And then I had, let's see, I had a month where I did like, I think it was 24,000 subs, 1.4 million views, 5,000 watch hours. I'm telling y'all, like, yeah, like, it'll remind you every single day of what you need to focus on. And like, y'all, look at this, 98.1 thousand subs. Look at that. You can't really see it. Like, hold on, man. You see, now you should be able to see it. But that's what that's gonna get y'all. If you throw in the law of detachment, where you focus on God, you detach from the end result. You don't try and be like, oh, I want to tap in by this date. No, you just set a goal. You don't let it determine how you feel, or you're not codependent or dependent, period, or anything like that on how you feel, on how it may. Oh, sorry. You're not codependent, dependent, or anything like that for it to make you feel a certain way. You don't depend on whether or not, whenever you are trying to set to get the goal. Basically, the goal doesn't determine how you feel. You're not dependent on how that goal is going to make you feel, whether or not you're going to get it, whether or not when you get it, or whatever it is. But, and then you do whatever you need to do every day. You focus on God, you do the daily activities. Say it's to get $1 million. Okay, you got to get your first $1, first $10, first $100, and you scale up something. But you got to do one thing. So it's like, me, I'm on my way to my first 10K a month online. I make $800 a month online. Like, just flat, no tax. And, like, I'm about to start getting paid by YouTube, but, like, one thing I will say is this, like, like, it's gonna pay off, bro. I'm telling you, like, I started crying when I hit 98,000. I just hit it about 2 hours ago, probably. That's what's gonna. If you haven't watched the video on journaling, go watch that first. And then now, this is the one that's gonna benefit you, which is goals. Like, write down your goals every day.